Is he called Dickman? Who are you talking about? Yeah, no, this is Gil Dickman. Gil Dickman, his relative was kidnapped and murdered by Hamas on October 7th. And he went to the Knesset and was responding to a Likud Knesset member and one of their elected representatives calling for Gaza to be like flattened and annihilated. And he was not very happy about it because, you know, his family member is in Gaza and he doesn't want him to die along with all the other civilians. Let's show this response. I'll read it because it's in, they're speaking Hebrew. Member of the Knesset, you said that the best response to this video is to erase Gaza. My cousin is in there. My cousin's wife is there. There are babies, Jews and Arabs, by the way. They are there. What is it supposed to do for our mental strength? To hear you talk like that in such slogans. Like we're not here. And that's what you have to say: to erase, to annihilate, to flatten. Who are you flattening? Human beings that you've abandoned is who you're flattening. Human beings who are under a murderous regime is who you're flattening. If there is still a trace of humanity in you, please, please, care for resilience. The resilience of our relatives who are there. We do not know if they're alive or dead. Carmel, my cousin, the health professional, she is an occupational therapist. Jordan Roman, my cousin, a psychotherapist, is also a woman. Health professionals. Everything. Oh, 1 second. He's talking very fast now. Everything they wanted in their life is taking care of people. We believe that too. There, if they are in a capsule, like as we said before, they are taking care of children and the adults who are there. You have a role. We invited ourselves here. We didn't have to invite ourselves. You should have talked to us. And also, the Ministry of Health does not have to wait to be contacted. He should know how to take care of all people. And first and foremost, stop talking in slogans of to wipe out, to flatten, and to annihilate. Take care of life. Because there is life in Gaza. Our family is there and many others. Thank you. Damn. Very good speech. Okay. I heard there was a Hamas. Somebody was talking about it. Say, somebody said a Hamas representative said they're going to do more October 7th in the future. Does anybody have a link to that? Here's the link to what the Hamas spokesman said. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to give that, put that frame of reference out there because still the Israelis have not yet made a deal for the hostages. And the longer this war goes on, the likelihood of more and more Hamas hostages dying in the bombardment, the likelihood increases. And there's already been claims that that many of the hostages have already died from the bombardment. I don't know if we've had any like photograph evidence or proof of that, but we have reason to believe. What's this? Hamas official says group aims to repeat October 7th many times to destroy Israel. Ghazi Hamad of terror group's Politburo hails assault in which civilians were systematically murdered, saying there will be a second, third, or fourth. U.S. official called it chilling. A senior member of Hamas has hailed the systematic slaughter of civilians in Israel on October 7th, vowing in an interview that if given the chance, the Palestinian terror group will repeat similar assault many times in the future until Israel is exterminated. The remark by Ghazi Hamad, a member of Hamas's political bureau, were swiftly shared online by Israeli and Western officials as a vindication of the Jewish state's resolve to destroy the terror group's military capabilities and its ongoing war in Gaza, and as proof that no ceasefire can be reached until the threat of additional murderer attack is removed. Israel is a country that has no place on our land, Hamad said in an interview with Lebanese TV channel LBC on October 24th. Which was translated and published Wednesday by Middle East Research Institute. I don't like these guys, but I mean, if the quote's real, the quote's real. We must remove it because it constitutes a security, military, and political catastrophe, said the Arab Islamic nation. We are not ashamed to say this. In the interview, he said that Israel's existence is illogical, that it must be wiped off all Palestinians' lands. Well, that has been the Hamas position for a very long time. I mean, they also have talked about accepting 1967 borders before. So in sit-down negotiations, who knows if they would accept that now or not? Probably would. Who knows? But for sure. A term the terror group uses to mean the West Bank, Gaza, and Israel minus the Golan Heights. When asked whether that meant the complete annihilation of Israel, Hamas replied, yes, of course. Okay, so he is personally coming out in favor of it. We must teach Israel a lesson, and we will do twice, 3 times the Al-Aqsa deluge. Is just the first, that's the name they give the operation. It's just the first time. There will be a second, third, a fourth. Hamad continued. Will we have to pay the price? Yes, and we are ready to pay it. We are called a nation of martyrs, and we are proud to sacrifice martyrs. God, it's fucking demented. What's gonna happen if they do it again? What's gonna, well, if they do it again? Let's say that somehow Hamas wins. The Israel, and then like that doesn't even say wins. Let's say Hamas survives, right? Watch it yourself. Okay, you know what? Maybe they misquoted him. We'll watch it right now. I don't know. Maybe people like the Hamas representative. Maybe he misquoted the Hamas representative. It'd be crazy if the Hamas representative said something radical. Israel is a country that has no place on our land. We must remove that country because it constitutes security, military, and political catastrophe to the Arab and Islamic nation and must be finished. We are not ashamed to say this with full force. We must teach Israel a lesson, and we will do this again and again. The Al-Aqsa flood is just the first time. There will be a second and a third, because we have the determination, the resolve, and the capabilities to fight. We will have to pay a price, yes, and we are ready to pay it. We are called a nation of martyrs, and we are proud to sacrifice martyrs. God, fucking... Well, the thing is, Hamas representatives, Hamas politicians, the ones overseas in Qatar and locations safe and not under bombardment, are very, 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 very quick to go out there and say, yeah, no, we'll give as many, yeah, we'll all die. We'll all die while I'm in the air-conditioned interview room in Qatar. Yeah, all of them, we'll all die for the cause. We shall all die. Get the fuck out of here. If they do another operation like that, you're going to get the same result you got this time, which is more dead Palestinians than Israelis, which is the Gaza Strip being demolished, its historic architecture being destroyed, people's homes being demolished, the destruction of their water supply, of their electricity, of their fuel supply. You're going to have women having to go through birth and surgeries without anesthetics. You're going to have children with burn wounds without anesthetics. Not anesthetic. I forget what it's called. I think it's called anesthetics. You know, to numb the pain. Without painkillers. Could you imagine children without anything to help the pain? Just full anesthesia. Thank you. From full body, head to toe burns. Nothing to deal with it. A woman has to go through a C-section to deliver a baby because of complications. Nothing to deal with it. That will be the result if they do it again. That will be the result. Maybe it'll even be worse next time. Because maybe next time, the Israeli government, if they somehow agreed to a ceasefire and pulled out at this point, would be like, look, we did it. We compromised last time. We went soft. I guess we maybe went too soft on them last time. Maybe that won't be the conclusion. Maybe it'll be a different government. But if you have any government that even looks frankly, like not even frankly, slightly like Netanyahu's government. It doesn't have to be Netanyahu's government. It could be Benny Gantz's government. It could be anyone's government. There's a really good chance that they just engage in the same type of military operation, maybe even more brutal. How does this help Palestinians? It doesn't help Palestinians. It just makes their displacement more likely. We did not want to harm civilians. Fucking bullshit. The vast majority of the people that they killed were civilians. And we're not talking about like, oh, who's that over there? Oh no. It's like very close up. Bam, 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 bam. Look at that grandma. Bam, 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 bam. They're like very close up. Like you have to look at the person and pull the trigger. That's what they had to do. That's how they killed people. It wasn't like they didn't know what they were doing when they're killing people. At least when people are blindly firing artillery, they probably have a general idea that they're killing a lot of civilians. But they had to look at the civilian before they pulled the trigger. There was no confusion. But there were complications on the ground. There was a party in the area with the civilian population. It was a large area across 40 kilometers. Oh, there was a party and we fell in it. And, you know, once we were there, we were like, oh, we want all the weed. And so we mowed everyone. What do you mean? Fucking, like, there was a party and so there was complications. You went to the middle of the party and just started mowing down everyone at random. Like, usually if you're engaged in military operations and you pass a party, you know what you do? You pass the party and you go fight the soldiers, not the ravers high on acid and mushrooms. They're not hurting anyone. Maybe themselves. Maybe they're subconscious through ego death. But besides that, not hurting anybody. I'm talking about all the Palestinians' lands. Does that mean the annihilation of Israel? Yes, of course. The existence of Israel is illogical. The existence of Israel will cause all that pain, blood, and tears. It is Israel, not us. I mean, it is us too. You went out and you mowed down random Thai migrant workers. What does that have to do with Palestinian liberation? We are the victims of occupation. You cannot just say we are the victims, therefore everything we do is justified. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. It's nonsensical. Like, if this is the logic we're using now, like anybody who's the victim of oppression can now engage in like horrific violence, then you can justify any number of terror attacks. In fact, what would, and I use this example all the time, what would stop a Ukrainian from saying, I should go to a Moscow theater with a bomb strapped to my chest and avenge my family who were all executed in the Izium death pit? And I've called it a mass grave for some time. I'm done calling it a mass grave. The more I think about it, a grave is something that, you know, bodies lined up to each other. They got like a little section for themselves, maybe some sort of a headstone. You know, it's deep enough that the body won't kick out like with a few days rain. But these were just pits where they dumped bodies. It's death pits. Could you not say to somebody like that, then okay, then that would be justifiable? Because that is essentially what they were doing, just targeting like that music festival at random. Full of civilians, and then justifying it through we're occupied. There's a lot of occupied people around the world. That does not mean you can deliberately target civilians, ever. Not to mention, there's military resources that you could have used and allocated to attack Israeli government positions. In fact, it'd make it a lot easier probably for a lot of people to call for a ceasefire if they engage that way. And they only attack the military.
احنا اللي بنعمل مبرر. It is justified. مبررة.
Yeah, no, that's wild. Awful.